Welcome back, everyone. In this lesson, we are going to add an extra test in our framework, and we are going to leverage all the knowledge that we've learned so far. The scenario that I'm proposing would be to sign in to Best Buy with an existing account. So what we will do, we will use the account navigation to press the sign in button. We will navigate to the sign in page, this one. We will enter an email and a password, then press the sign in button. But first, we need to create an account. So let's create an account. I'm going to pass my name, and then I need an email address. For this, I'm going to use a temp mail. So you can use this service to generate a temporary email. It will have this inbox over here that you can use. So I'm going to copy this. Then add a password. Re-enter the password. A mobile phone number. And then create account. Okay. And it seems we are logged in. Perfect. Let's see if we also received an email. Verify your email address. Let's also do this. Okay, continue, looks good. Let's wait for this to finish. Perfect. So now we've also confirmed our email. Let me copy my email from this. And I'm going to add this to the property files. So I will add username, or actually let's call it email. And then the password. Perfect. So let's log out. Sign out and try to sign in again. Okay. Sign in. Use the email address. Use the password. And again, it works. Okay, perfect. So let's start code our test. Going back to our framework, I'm going to add a new class over here. I'm going to call this one sign in test. Add a new test. I'm going to call my test sign in existing user. Perfect. Now the first action that we need to make is to navigate to the Best Buy page. And in our previous test, we did this by using this page, page.navigate. But let's create a page object for this. So I'm going to add a new page object over here. My page is package. And I'm going to call that first page that you see home page. Okay, let's create the constructor for this so we can pass the Playwright page. Let's store that here. Okay, and now we need to pass the page to this. Perfect. Let's add a navigate method to this. Public void navigate, and it will not take any arguments, and if the only action it will do is it will use the home page to navigate to the URL we are storing in our properties file. So I'm going to do this by invoking the environment reader file and using the URL key, like so. Perfect. So it will use this service. It will read from the property file this URL over here. Great. Now let's add this page to our Playwright runner. So if you remember from our previous lessons, you only need to add the Playwright annotation, declare the new page over here, and that is all. Now you can use it in your test. So I'm going to call this in my sign-in test, sorry, and call something is wrong. Oh, of course, my sign-in test does not extend the Playwright runner. That's why I cannot see the navigate method on this, because it doesn't know who homepage is. Okay, so at this point we have navigated to the home page, and the next step would be to navigate to sign. If you remember from our sign-up test, we already created this functionality. Actually, let's go ahead and change this page navigate with the new method we just created. So in our sign-up test, I'm going to also modify this. And in our sign-in test, I'm going to add this line. But this time we are not going to navigate using the action navigation page, which is this. We are not going to navigate to create account. Instead, we are going to sign in. Okay. And then we will need to create a new page for sign-in. So let's do that now. I'm going to add a new page over here. Call it sign-in page. Again, need to declare the constructor, pass the page, actually this is private final page, sign-in page, and I believe I made an error in the previous homepage where I've left this as public. This should be private because you don't need to access it directly. Okay, so we have the base of our sign-in page, and here we are going to create a method called sign-in, and we are going to pass as arguments an email address and the password. Perfect. Now let's go back to our sign-in test. Call this new page. So before we can actually call it, we need to add it to our Playwright runner. like so. Playwright page, sign in page, perfect. And now we can call the sign in method that we have not implemented yet. Okay, and here I need to pass as arguments the email and the password. And the way I can do that is to read them directly from the property file. I have them here, email and password. And I can use my get property method that we have in our Playwright runner and just simply call it like this. And now you can see that email and password are used over here. So get property will use the environment reader service and it will use this key to identify the actual values. Great. So at this point, we don't have any logic here. Let's put a breakpoint over here, run our test until this point, and continue from there. So I will need to add a few locators for the email, password, and sign in button. Okay, so I'm now navigating to the home page and we click sign in. Let's see how we can identify the email and password fields. So for email, I can use this ID. Great. And let's declare those over here. So first, I'm going to store the selector over here. I'm going to call this email, the selector for that field, and using CSS selectors. That was an input, I believe, with the ID of this. Let me go back. Yes, so this is the ID, this is an input, perfect. Next, the password. The password has this ID, perfect. Let's duplicate this. Modify the ID. Okay, and next, the sign in button. Does it have an ID? No, but I can probably use this attribute. So it's a button. Sign in button. And let's use this time, let's use a XPath selector. So this is a button that has an attribute of data track which is equal to sign in. Great. And now let's add all these rows in our method. So first, I'm going to use the sign in page locator, use the selector we declared above, email, and then fill the email that was passed as an argument over here, like so. Next, the password. And after this, the sign in button. And this I'm going to click, since this is a button. Perfect. Let's add a breakpoint over here at the end of this method. And let's debug our test. So it will go to the home page to navigate to it. Then it will click the account button, the sign in link. It will use the properties stored in the property file for email and password, and then it will click sign in. Perfect. And now let's also add some sort of assertion on this page. So now I'm on the home page again. Maybe I can check for this. Actually, this Best Buy logo might be present on all the other pages. So maybe let's look for this deal of the day button, because we already have a selector for this. You remember the first test, we've identified that using this. Perfect. So I'm just going to reuse this. I'm going to copy it, add it to our home page, and let's write a method check we are on the home page. And here I'm going to use this locator. Instead of page, I'm going to use home page. And let's add an assertion. Assert that, importing from Playwright, use this locator. And check that this is visible. Okay, we could store this selector up top. So let's call it this top menu link. Okay, or actually links, because this resolves to multiple links. And for now, I guess we can leave this deal of the day over here. And let's call this method in our test. So the last step would be to check that we've arrived on the home page. And we are going to call homepage.check. We are on the home page, and this will be the last line in our test. Let's give this a try. Stop my debug session. Also remove this system out from here. And let's give it a try. Let's just run it directly, no debug mode this time. And the test should run successfully. Okay. It will now wait for the page to get synchronized. And it failed. Okay. So what you can see over here, that it surpassed the 5 seconds. Okay, so what we can do to fix this is add to isVisible a timeout. So I'm going to use new locator assertion isVisible option and set a timeout of 20 seconds. 0. This is expressed in milliseconds. And let's give our test another try. So the previous time we've executed this, it passed through the timeout of 5 seconds because after the sign-in action we didn't have anything else but the assertion. And this time adding a timeout should be enough to fix our test. So 5 seconds wasn't enough to make that assertion. Okay guys,